I've got no hat to turn backwards, so I'm going to throw off the vest. Welcome to another episode of Odd Podcast That 2.0, where we talk about podcasting and doing it better. We are on an 11-part journey. I don't even know what number this is. Joey? 6? 7? We'll figure that out later. But today we're going to talk about event tracking. So why do I need event tracking? I'm a podcaster. Well, more and more podcasters are utilizing platforms outside of the podcasting world to hold virtual events and live events. So let's briefly talk about that. A virtual event. This could be a, hey, thanks for watching the show. We're just going to do an hour Q&A, or we're going to do a virtual happy hour and I'll have a beer and just talk. You can do things like that. Now, some people even monetize those and they charge an entrance fee, which is kind of cool, and another vertical to earn revenue from your show. Live events. Couple of things. You might be asked to speak at somebody else's live event, and you should keep track of that. Number one. Number two, you might want to host your own live event. Maybe you're going to do a show live with a live audience or live with a virtual audience. Well, having some data and information tracked on those events can benefit you in the future. You know, we're all about planning here at Sitch Radio, so we're going to run through a base that we utilize on Airtable to track events. This one has 4 tabs: events, sessions, speakers, and attendees. Well, 9 times out of 10, we're not going to use the sessions tab, but it is there. Maybe you're asked to speak at a single event, more than one session. Maybe you're going to host an event with a couple of sessions. So they're there. They're ready for us. Speakers. If you're going to have somebody MC your event, or you're going to have a couple of shows speak at a virtual event or a live event that you're putting on, then the speakers tab makes sense. And then attendees. This is the meat of it. Hopefully you're utilizing other platforms, outside platforms, to get attendee information, i.e., for our meetups, we use Meetup, we use Eventbrite, we use Facebook, we use Alignable. Well, if I want to know who attended, I now have to download 4 reports. This base gives me a great place to upload that information and keep track of it. That way I can also send them out a, hey, thanks for attending my event. Please sign up for my newsletter. Or, hey, would you mind us reaching out to you in the future for upcoming events? Get that permission. Be up and honest with them. Let them know you've got things coming up in the future. But we are going to run through the events tab quickly. Event name, conference details. So this is going to be, some specific details about what it is you are doing. And you can, again, get rid of the word conference if you choose. Event type, virtual, in person. Again, you can break that down depending on what kind of data, what kind of events you're doing, and what kind of data you might want to reference in the past. Event lead, if it's your show, most likely it'll be you. Start date, end date, month. This is an interesting column because people are like, why do I need to know what month it is? I've got a date. Well, you might want to quickly see attendance numbers by month. Maybe you get more interaction in the winter than you do the summer because people are looking for something to do during the winter months because a lot of things shut down, especially if you live in a cold environment. Sessions. If you are running multiple sessions, you can itemize those there. And that tab or that column feeds into the sessions tab. Same with the speakers and attendees. And then total count of attendees. Again, this is important. If you do an October event entitled 1, 2, 3, and you had 50 people show up, but then you do a event, the same event 1, 2, 3 in July, and you have 150 people show up, maybe it's the month versus the title and or description that are encouraging people to get there and go. So again, data just to look back on and reference, number one. Number two, a single place to keep all the event details in order. So you know what you need to do, what's next, etc., etc. Being organized, super important for podcasters, and we take it to the next level, even staying organized with our events. And then event description. So the way this differs, the way we use it, that differs from conference line details is you've got the big conference details, and then you've got the events description. So if you're doing multiple sessions or a few events inside of one conference or one event, you can kind of break that out. So that's about it. Look, there's lots of tools to manage events. This is a tool that we like to use because, say, Meetup, for example, you can go into Meetup and you can start planning it. You can save it as a draft, but are you going to go back and work it? You know, we're in Airtable every day, all day. So we're more apt to open this up and push things down the road that need to be pushed down the road for planning purposes. If you never intend on doing events, you don't have to add this base to your workflow. But if you ever are thinking about, hey, we've been asked to go to an event, let's pull this base in so we can start tracking this. So for example, we've got a host that's done about 5 events thus far, invited because he hosts the show he hosts. So having that information there in one place that we can look back on is great. And it's also helpful if you have a spike in numbers. It's easy to tie it to the event if you have information about that event as to, newfound audience. That's about it for today. Be sure to like, follow, share, rate, review. Our social links are in the notes below. We'd love to engage with you on Twitter and Instagram. Hit us up.